My name is Patrice Williams. I'm a life designer. I'm a soul connector. I'm an alchemist. And this is the Professor Williams. Welcome to my channel. Whew. When I think of alchemy, I think of magic and miracles. I think of transformation, of something that was already trying its best to just exist and to be, but in an instant, it was transformed into something magical. And I think so often we miss that the instant is a pause, and that in that pause, so much can happen. We go within and we find everything we've always been looking for. To me, alchemy is tied to soul connection and to life design, because by taking a stance of co-creation in your life, by being willing to walk up to all of the darkness that lies within and greet it with a smile and a hug and say, I see you, and we're going to be okay. That's what alchemy is to me. The magic is being okay with who you are. The magic is acknowledgement. The magic is acceptance. The magic is appreciation just for yourself and all of who you are, and the good and the bad and the ugly. And then with that, the miracles show up.
Why would a person want to walk up to the darkness and recognize it for what it is?
I don't think anybody necessarily wants to walk up to the darkness. I don't think anybody wants to greet it. There's growth that occurs in the womb, right? And I think about pregnancy, and I think about the growth of a human. And I think about a butterfly. I think about going into the cocoon. The caterpillar is not like, I don't have anything else to do today but to go into the darkness, to go within. But what happens there, the transformation, what happens there, the butterfly, what happens there is that everything that you thought you were, everything that this creature thought that it was, is broken all the way apart, right? Like, it's torn apart. Think about a baby that starts as just a cell, right? This cell has to divide again and again and again and again and again in order for this being to come into formation and to grow and to create and to become this thing that's far beyond anybody who would have ever seen a slide that had one cell on it. There's no way in hell you would think it could grow into that. So it's not that you want the darkness, it's that you need it. It's not that you want to greet the darkness, is that it's going to greet you anyway. And if you show up to it first to say hello, it's far less likely to catch you off guard. So in a way, alchemy is your ability to hijack this experiential process of life. Because when the experiences just come, sometimes it forges you through fire. And there are fiery parts of any experience, but if you can prepare for the fire and put on a firefighter suit when you go into the house that's on fire, you're much more prepared. It tears you apart much less, and it has a lower chance of killing you in the process. Things will die. Parts of you will die. Parts of you will be cast out. Parts of you will find just no longer fit. But giving belongings away feels better than them being stolen from you, because you have a choice in the matter. That's why we greet them. That's why we walk up to the darkness and we say hello. Because we welcome the change that life is going to offer us anyway. That makes sense? When I was a little girl, I used to love Triceratops. I love dinosaurs, but specifically the Triceratops. I think it has something to do with Land Before Time. I think it has something to do subconsciously with the fact that 3 has always been my special number. It's just shown up in many places of my life, starting with my birthday being March 3rd. But it's something powerful about a 3. And it's something powerful about a gentle giant. And I think because I'm of smaller stature, 4'11". I think there's a part of me that always knew she was big on the inside. And as a child, I was shy. I'm actually thinking this through now. Like, why Triceratops? I was seen to be shy because I had a wonderful, brilliant big sister who was bold and who spoke for me often and I didn't need to be seen because she showed others for me. And so I think the Triceratops was the part in me that was screaming to shout and to screaming to be big and to be bold and to be fierce and to be brave, but to still be soft and to be nurturing. And so I wanted to be a Triceratops initially when I was 3 years old, 4 years old, 5 years old. I remember, maybe not 5, like 4, 3 and 4. I remember thinking, when I grow up, I want to be like that. And I wanted to be an obstetrician. And I've always known that I enjoyed birth, right? That there was something about the magic and the miracle of giving birth to a human, to a being. And I've always wanted to be a part of that process. And even when I stopped wanting to be interested in science, I thought I wanted to be a doula for a while. And I happened upon a job fresh out of college. I worked in a prison doing substance abuse counseling. And I realized along the way that I helped introduce people back to themselves in a way that was beautiful, in a way that they could appreciate who they are and all of who they are and all of what they have to offer. And I think that's what soul connection is. I think there are doctors who are well trained in giving birth, but there are very few people who I feel who are on this planet that help give life to those who have already been given birth to. And so I think there are a lot of people who have been born, but they are not alive. And I think the life comes from being a part of your journey and stepping outside of the judgment of the journey and stepping outside of the victimhood of the journey and finding the space and the appreciation of all of the things that I'm here to experience and all of the things that I'm here to do. I'm consistently training. Whether I recognize it or not, I'm growing into the being that is meant to do that thing that I was put here to do. And so to help the person find the joy in that part of the journey, that's what soul connection is. And what I didn't realize all along is that that's exactly what I was going to be. I was going to be strong and to be brave and to be fierce and to be reliable and to be motherly and to be all of the things that are nurturing and feminine, or what I feel are nurturing and feminine to me. And so from there, it shifted into so many other spaces. And so I think just seeing the coherency and the consistency between all the things I thought I wanted to do across the years that were all so very different, they all had the same underlying theme. And it truly was being the catalyst and being the impetus to help people see themselves and value themselves and hear themselves. Life designer. Interestingly enough, when I was 22, I think, I was getting ready to leave working at the prison and worked in a residential substance abuse treatment program. And I knew this light had been lit inside of me. I led group hours a day, most times twice a day, 3 hours apiece. Well, yeah, 3 hours apiece. And I also had a caseload of like 30 or so clients. And I remember being in a class that was like the free period, I guess, the group called Self-Discovery. And that was when I knew my soul started to sing and started to shine. And there were people of all ages, and they would say, "How in the world are you so young, but you make this kind of impact?" And I'd be like, "Man, I don't know. This is just that thing that happens." And so in leaving the prison, I knew I wanted to start a business. So I ended up going to get my MBA, and that's where Patrice Inspires, which is the first iteration of the Professor Williams. It was called Patrice Inspires, and the tagline was creating the life you desire. And fast forward 10 years. Yeah, right at 10 years. I found myself in the most amazing institution, I think, on this planet. Teaching a class called Designing Your Life. Wow, this is a path that I was always on, but I didn't know it, and life had to take me around so that I could design my very own life in order to be able to teach it. And so 10 years later, here I am, the Professor Williams. Not just Professor Williams. Like, wait, you're the Professor Williams? Yep, I'm her. That's me. One and the same. And so I help people. I help my students. Help my clients, my individual clients, design their lives. Recognize the places that, first of all, become aware. Awareness. Aware of where you currently stand. Aware that you're not as close to the goal as you may want to be. Aware that you're closer to the goal than you thought you were. Just aware of what the goals are, aware of what the goals are not. And then acknowledging the accountability that it takes to move from the place where you are to the place where you want to be. And working through the unwritten rules. Working through the spaces that people don't talk about, but the places that are common in those who find their way to their version of greatness. Because greatness looks different for different people. So it's not a one-size-fits-all kind of bucket, but I feel like everybody in ways has a feeling of what greatness means to them. Even if they can't call it by name, even if they can't say, oh, it's a, beautiful house with a white picket fence and a husband and 2 kids and a dog or whatever, right? They know the feeling that underlies whatever it is that they're asking for in their prayers, in their dreams, in their goals, in their hopes. In those spaces of themselves where they don't believe sometimes they'll ever be able to achieve it. And sometimes in the places where we're so ignorant to think that it should just show up for us without us having to do the work that it takes to get there. Whatever that work may be, for whatever it is your version of wonderful is. That's life design.
What if someone said they don't know what greatness is, so they'll never know when they get there?
We got something for that too. You don't have to know what your version of greatness is. You don't have to be able, everybody knows what greatness is. Everybody is not able to identify it. Oftentimes people are too afraid to try to identify it, because when you do, then you realize all of the blocks and the barriers and the obstacles that might stand between you and what it is that you're trying to be. And a lot of times those places include doubt and fear and undeservingness. Those are the places that lie in the darkness that people don't want to meet, and people don't want to greet, and people don't want to say hello to. So my answer to that is we go within. We go into the darkness. We welcome it. We say, hey, we don't need no nightlight right now. We're going to go to sleep. And we're going to stay still. And the time will come where we can see the glimmers of light. I hear babies respond to light in the womb. And so those glimmers of light, when you begin to see them, when it's time for the stillness and the darkness and the withinness to be done, you follow the light. The light will lead you exactly to where your flavor, your version, your variation of greatness lies.